Hello and welcome to another edition of RC Racing from our new home here at MOTO Arena at Silverstone. Now, Nick, what have we got in this show?
Well, coming up, John, I'm back in Germany for the final action from the World Championships for touring cars. But first, we're going to Portugal for EFRA 1/8 Rallycross action.
Now, we're used to seeing buggies in action in Telford, over the whoops, in the shed. Is this the same sort of thing, Nick?
Exactly the same, but outdoor where the big problem is dust and not the fumes. But it's cracking. Let's go and find out what happened in Portugal.
The 30th IC Buggy Euros took place under the relentless Portuguese sun within the grounds of the newly renovated state-of-the-art facility in Guarda. But as our resident buggy expert Phil from Neo Buggy points out, all eyes are on the track.
The main talking point all week's always been the track. The warm-up deteriorated quite a lot, and then the last 2 weeks the organisers have done a fantastic job to the track, but also, fixing it every morning. But the general feeling is the track's slowed down a little bit since the first qualifier, and also the track over the course of one lap, the grip changes are huge. You've got concrete corners, you've got slick chicane section, and then also the rollers, the jumps, which are really, really loose.
Well, despite the track rumblings, this hugely popular event was full to capacity, and it seems some faces you just can't get away from.
Oh, Mark, congratulations on your win last weekend. Do you ever take a holiday?
No, I came home I think Sunday after the Worlds and went straight on Monday to here, and yeah, I will take holiday maybe in a couple of weeks. And I just do this for fun, and it's a lot of fun to drive, but it's better. Would be better to get used to it, to drive more off-road. So I think maybe next year I go a little bit more off-road because the Electric Worlds is in Europe, and I hope to do better than all the time before.
Well, he seems not to be having it all his own way. As qualifiers draw to a close, let's talk to the current European buggy champion, Renault Savoia.
It could be better last year, and the year before it was better because I TQ'd, but I was a bit struggling on the tires doing some choice, and it was not very good this week in the qualification. So I hope for the main it's going to be alright with the semi-practices in order to make a good choice for the final, and I hope it's going to be okay.
With the previously unstoppable Frenchman seemingly losing his stranglehold on the Euros, one favourite had emerged to take his place.
I personally think that I don't think Yannick has been pushed to the limit yet. I think he's got lots in reserve. The guy, he's such a cool operator, he's so professional. I mean, he had a problem in the last round of the French National Championship with the rear end of the car, and his pitman has been practicing since at how quick he can change the whole back end on his car. And I think they're down to just over a minute, and Yannick has said that if he gets it to less than a minute, if they hit problems, they'll be making a full change to the back end of the car.
I see Yannick as the clear favourite this far. I mean, he's driving very well. He's not driving outside any of his limits.
Yeah, I'm very happy. BTQ, of course, but most important for me is how the car handles on the track, how it works. I'm very confident with this, with the tires engine. Everything is working good, which is much more important than just being TQ and then doing nothing. So I'm confident for tomorrow.
Well, with qualifying done, let's get the final underway. With your race commentary, it's John HINDHAUGH.
Pole position then for the Spaniard, Robert Batlle, on the associated with the Nova Rossi engine. It's MIGUEL RB for Renault Savoia, the Frenchman in second. The brothers Aigion in third and fourth alone. Different combinations, Yannick on a Losi and Jerome on a Kyosho, both with Nova Rossi motors. Elliot Boots, the best of the Brits, in fifth, MIGUEL RB. And then in sixth, David Ronenfalk, Kyosho team Orion. Martin Baer, the Czech driver, Losi Nova Rossi in seventh. The X-Ray RB combination is chosen by 8th place starter, the Frenchman Jerome Sartel. Then it's Luis, Matias, Lee Martin and Alberto Garcia for the top 12. And they're off, and the pole man goes wide at the first corner, and immediately he's under challenge from Savoia, and Savoia looking very strong there, but catches the whoops through to the far side of the circuit. The battle for the lead continuing. Magnificent stuff there. Oh, and there's a problem for fourth place man. That's Jerome Aigion, who's gone over. Now here's the leaders again. And there's been a change. Look at that. That is Renaud Savoia now, the Frenchman leading. As he hasn't really got much of a gap between himself and the Spaniard. The pole sitter behind him who's coming back strongly there, but again, just mistimes the last of the whoops there as they complete the lap. And now Savoia on the Mugen with the RB motor on the far side of the circuit from us, has just turned it over and given up the lead. Bataille goes back through. The Spaniard from pole position. It's Yannick Aigion in third place. In fact, up to second now. As you can see, the distinctive fluorescent wing of the Frenchman in third place. Oh, he does fly those middle whoops there very well, doesn't he? As the leader now drifting through onto the pit straight. Seems as though Robert Bataille has settled down into the groove. At the moment, he's not really being challenged, is he? With Yannick Aigion in second place on the Losi with the Nova Rossi engine, still in third. Hot favourite, Renaud Savoia. Was there just a stumble there for the leader? Has he been a little bit too conservative? Well, he's holding on to his lead. Just look in the background for the battle for second. That's going to be joined very shortly, I think. He's just not got the rhythm right there, the leader, has he? Has nice big tail out slide there by Renaud Savoia, but it's, well, it might be catching the eye of our cameraman, but it's not quick. You see, I say that, and he looks to be making a little bit of ground up on his countryman. Yannick Aigion in second place. There's the leader. And Aigion goes over. Second place man is over. And somehow Renaud Savoia has managed to avoid the spinning buggy. And that's rather gifted him. Second place, you can see it right on the apices of the corners. The track beginning to just rut up a little bit. And one or two of the more canny drivers like Savoia looking for the harder place on the inside where you can see there's a little bit of hard standing there. Now, can the Frenchman do anything about the speedy Spaniard who has disappeared off into the distance over that very, very difficult spot there over the humpback? Just before that, it's very bumpy indeed. Now, there is the leader, and you can see some of those holes in the ground that I was talking about, and Robert is being very careful to avoid them with the Associated. And at the moment, he's bossing this. Just a glimpse in the background there of the second place man. Coming through again to complete another lap. What's the gap? That is the gap. Oh, smashing stuff though. So let's look back to third place, and this has been a fantastic drive in the first part of this 45-minute contest, because this is the Portuguese driver, local favourite Miguel Matias on the Losi with the RB motor, taking advantage of some of the problems from earlier on. He's got past both of the Aigion brothers, although I think that's Yannick that's chasing him down. Just caught a glimpse of it. Yes, it is. Yannick Aigion in fourth place. He's chasing this thief. Oh my goodness me, he's catching him very quickly now, as Matias was a little bit conservative there. And now we've got a battle for the final podium spot, and this is smashing stuff again. Oh, and he's rolled it! The Portuguese driver has put it on its roof. Well, would have if it had a roof. You know what I mean? He's rolled it out on that first corner. You can see it's very difficult to find the grip. Oh, and there's Aigion done exactly the same thing. So it's as you were then, with Miguel Matias back up into third position. Aigion with the bright yellow wheels as they go across the stripe. That's actually the end of the lap as they now head back onto the technical part down the inside. Oh, that's a tremendous manoeuvre. Fantastic stuff by the Frenchman. And he's just about held the inside line coming onto the pit straight. Now, let's see, into this very fast left-hander. That's where the grip can be rather difficult. Sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. The car will slide. And as we got a new third place, oh my goodness me, this is great stuff. And now they've tangled up. Throw a bucket of water over them too. And it looks like the Frenchman's got the advantage there. Now I wonder what the stewards will think of that. There was a coming together racing incident, clearly thought by the Frenchman, because he hasn't given that position back. And coming through behind there, that looks to be our leader to put a lap on this battle for third position. Such has been the pace of Renault Savoia. So now he's got to be rather careful he doesn't get too embroiled in it. As into the pits. Into the pits then comes Aigion. Our leader then, Renault Savoia, lapped everyone apart from second place. And he's in elegant isolation at the moment. Really all he's got to worry about now is keeping his concentration. And this one is all but over. My goodness me, he's put it over on the end of the whoops. Lost his and who's that? That's Yannick Aigion. Yannick Aigion, who was battling for third place with Miguel Matias. He's into the pits and that looks serious. We may not see that buggy back. Meantime, Savoia then still leads with this buggy in second. This is the Spaniard, the man who started from pole, Robert Bataille. And he really is the only man who has got any chance of putting pressure on the Frenchman who leads. He's just taking it very easily. And I don't wonder if you might not be quicker going a bit wider there, you know. Just to keep the power on and the momentum up rather than almost coming to a standstill and dodging the bigger of the holes there. And he's just not looking confident over that part of the course, is he? As he comes round past the pit straight again, nicely through that right-hander though. Now that is Jerome Sartell on the X-Ray. RB Motor at the moment in fourth position. It's not bad from a starting position of 8th. And you look in the background, you might be able to see the Czech driver Martin Beyer on the low seat. I think we got a quick flash of him there as, oh dear, now I'm not an expert, but that's not the right way, and he's just given up the position to Martin Beyer. Beyer goes through into fourth then, and again, as we move into the latter stages, a little bit of concentration lacking there. So Beyer now in fourth, and Sartell demoted, there he is, into fifth position. Here's our leader, Renault Savoia, the Frenchman. He has bossed this from pretty early on, put a lap on virtually the whole field, and at the moment he is not being challenged. He is pacing himself round. You can see the checkered flag there just being readied for him. Watch for the green stripe on the dirt. He comes through, he's got a couple of corners to go, and this will be a very impressive win. Tried for the donut there and didn't quite make it work. But it is a win for Renault Savoia and for France. So the confirmation then, Savoia from Robert Bataille of Spain in second place. Those the only two drivers to have done the full 65 laps. Matias of Portugal, a very popular third position. Then Beyer, Sartell, Ronenfalk, Yannick Aigion, Elliot Boots and Lee Martin, both in the top 10 for the UK. Jerome Aigion in 10th position.
Miguel, when we spoke to you the first 2 days, you were qualifying in third. On the grid today, you were 10th, back up to third again. Proved your point?
Yeah, the car was pretty good, the tires were good, the engine was okay, it was doing 9 minutes. I don't know, the other guys was just faster, and I just have to work harder.
Robert, I was going to say it's been a hard race, but it's been a hard week, hasn't it?
Yes, well, we started really bad. We have a lot of problems with the car. It doesn't have any traction, and it's really hard to compete with Renault and more people because our car is maybe a little bit under it. So we will continue working about traction, and we will continue trying to win.
It's a pity doing so well during the week and finishing like playing everything during 45 minutes and lose everything after 1 week of hard work, but that's racing.
3 times now.
Yep.
That's not been done before. No. It's the 30th year as well. This is quite special.
Yeah, that's it. It's the first time in history, so it was the main objective of this week. It was a bit hard at the beginning, and we keep focused on doing the best we can, and the result is here, so we are very happy about that.
Well, fantastic rallycross action there. Congratulations to Renault Savoia, 3-time European champion. Now it's my turn to trip over to Germany and the final leg of the IFMA ISTC World Championships. And with your race commentary, it's John HINDHAUGH.
So no poleman etiquette demanding that the newly crowned world champion Mark Reinhardt stays out of the battle for the minor places, which is led away by Gilles Groscamp, and he must be ruining not getting that start in the first or the second heat, because look at that, he's streaking away from the field now. Came into this meeting with a real hope, a real thought that he could be challenging Reinhardt in this World Championship runoff. And he's really not performed over the first two races. Perhaps a chance to gain back some self-esteem here as he leads out from Alexander Hagberg in second place. Hagberg, though, under pressure from Victor Wilk, who had a little look round the outside and almost got through into second. So Wilk in third, fourth is Paul Lemieux, the American. That's the leading group. And once again, the bright yellow Yokomo shell of Hayato Matsuzaki has pulled through, and this time he hasn't needed a crash in the opening stages to make ground, and he's up in fifth or sixth at the moment. I'll just have a look, it is sixth, yeah, as he comes through there. And that's a very good run, again, from the Japanese driver. And you know, he could be on his way to a decent finish in the overall standings here. And from 10th on the grid, that would be impressive stuff, as Wilk still looks for second place. Hagberg, though, defending. Oh, there's a touch! Wilk on Hagberg, and they're both catapulted down the field, and Wilk clips the side, and that looks like that car is done and through. Guess who's benefited from that? Yep, you're right, the bright yellow car. Hayato Matsuzaki, he is Johnny on the spot, isn't he? Now up to third position, behind Ronald Volker in second, and of course Gilles Groscamp ahead of this battle. That's Lemieux still behind them, by the way. So second, third, fourth, fifth, not too far away either. Keep your eye on that bright yellow of Matsuzaki as he... Oh, now you see, I say that, and he's just dropped back a little bit, and now it's Lemieux on the X-ray, who is beginning to push. Don't think he'll be too pleased with his results either. Used to running at the very sharp end of the field. Just through they go around the one of the several hairpins here. Ooh, little mistake there from Lemieux. And that's let through the Kyosho of Christopher Krepp, the German. And so that's a position gain for him, really, with Gilles Groscamp out ahead. It is, I'm afraid, battling for scraps here in the minor positions. There is Groscamp, the Dutchman. You've just got to say it. What was he doing in those first couple of finals, particularly after the accident right at the beginning? I mean, he could have pulled back and got some points out of that, but completely lost it in that second race. Meantime, we've got the battle for second on down, getting even tighter now, with Ronald Volker once again beginning to feel the pressure of Hayato Matsuzaki. And Krapp, Hagberg in there as well, just a little bit further back, heading up the next group. Volker, you know, there's a man as well who didn't qualify too badly. He's down in 8th. Shows now that he can run a decent pace. And again, you would have thought he would have been challenging a lot higher up the final standings. But some really odd results after the carnage, particularly in heat number 2, or in final number 2, should I say. So at the moment, the Japanese driver, the bright yellow touring car, is rather the meat in the sandwich. Across the line goes the leader, and that's the gap between first and what, 6th and 7th there to blink of an eye, as Gilles Groskamp in the final stages then of this third final at the World Championships. Well, he's led this convincingly. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Certainly shows his potential, but I wonder if it just intensifies his disappointment, because really we know, and he must know, he should have been challenging Mark Reinhardt for the overall victory. He's taken this one, but he's going to be well down the final standings, and there's a certain look of, well, resigned look on the face there of Gilles Groskamp. He knows it should have been so much better. Well, it was a convincing win, wasn't it, by Gilles Groskamp, ahead of Ronald Volker up from 8th to 2nd, and another good result by Hayato Matsuzaki from 10th, the final spot on the grid, up into 3rd. Then it was Krapp, Hagberg, Prumper, Elliot Harper, Paul Lemieux, Victor Wilk, Mark Reinhardt, of course, not taking the start. And the reason for that was he was already confirmed, as we see here, as world champion. And good results by Matsuzaki brings him a very well-deserved 2nd position in the Worlds. Elliot Harper, well, that's a good run to 3rd. And look at the names behind them. Krapp, Volker, Gilles Groskamp only 6th. Prumper, Lemieux, Hagberg and Victor Wilk in 10th.
Well, that's all we've got time for this month, but next month we're in Austria for off-road electric action. Remember, any day is RC Racing Day, because we're available 24/7 on www.rcracing.tv. Every show ever made is archived there, and a few special bits as well. So join us next time for more top quality RC racing action.